Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Aganda Timarandasya Ganajana Shivakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tajma Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna. The following video series is a summary of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam was translated into English by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Also included are His in-depth commentaries known as purports. These purports unpack the often complex and symbolic language of the text, make it understandable to a wider audience. The Srimad Bhagavatam, also known as the Bhagavata Purana, is considered the most important of sacred scriptures. Composed around 5,000 years ago, it is considered the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature and the original commentary on the Vedanta-sutra. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam is Srila Vyasadeva. He is also the compiler of the Vedas, classified as a Purana, a vast genre of ancient stories and knowledge encompassing history, philosophy, and spiritual teachings. Srimad Bhagavatam includes stories of avatars, creation narratives, lives of saints and sages, philosophy discourses, and practical guidance for spiritual life. Divided into 12 cantos with over 18,000 verses covering 10 subject matters. 1. The elemental creation. 2. The secondary creation. 3. The planetary systems. 4. Protection by the Lord. 5. The creative impetus. 6. Manvatars. 7. The science of God. 8. The dissolution. 9. Liberation. And 10. The supreme shelter. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, chapter 25, text 143 and 144, Lord Chaitanya, speaking to Prakrisananda Saraswati, tells him. Translation. The meaning of the Vedanta-sutra is present in Srimad Bhagavatam. The full purport of the Mahabharata is also there. The commentary of the Brahma Gayatri is also there and fully expanded with all Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the Supreme Purana. It was compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His incarnation as Vyasadeva. There are 12 cantos, 335 chapters, and 18,000 verses. Canto 10, chapters 23 through 30. Chapter 23. The Brahmins' wives blessed. When the cowherd boys became hungry, Krishna sent them to request food from Brahmins who were performing a sacrifice. Although the Brahmins were learned in the Vedas, they ignored the boys, considering Krishna an ordinary human being. Krishna then sent the boys to the Brahmins' wives, who had heard of his glories. Upon learning that Krishna was nearby, they eagerly brought abundant food and offered it to him in love and devotion. Although pleased, Krishna instructed them to return home, explaining that devotion comes through hearing, chanting, and remembrance, not merely physical proximity, and they should return home and fulfill their household duties. When the wives returned, the Brahmins were struck with remorse, realizing that despite their learning and sacrifices, they lacked devotion, while their wives attained perfection through pure bhakti. Understanding that Krishna's begging was an act of mercy, they offered obeisances to him, though fear of Kamsa kept them from approaching him directly. A verse from chapter 23 is text 33. Shravana darsanam danyam mai bhavo nukritanat natata sani karsena pratiyata tato grihan. Translation. It is by hearing about me, seeing my deity form, meditating upon me, and chanting my names and glories that love for me develops, not by physical proximity. Therefore, please go back to your homes. Chapter 24, Worshipping Govardhana Hill. In this chapter, Lord Sri Krishna breaks the pride of Indra and redirects the devotion of the Vrajavasis. When the cowherd men prepare a sacrifice to Indra for rainfall, Krishna questions its purpose and explains that karma and the material modes, not Indra, are responsible for happiness, distress, and rainfall. He teaches that the cowherd's true duty is to protect cows, honor Brahmins, and worship Govardhana Hill, their natural shelter and source of livelihood. Persuaded by Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd abandoned the Indra sacrifice and instead worshipped Govardhana with the same offerings. Krishna then manifests a gigantic, transcendental form as Govardhana itself. He declares that unlike Indra, Govardhana has personally accepted their worship. The cowherds joyfully offer obeisances, and Krishna joins them, firmly establishing exclusive devotion to the Supreme Lord and setting the stage for Indra's humiliation in the next chapter. A verse from chapter 24 is text 25. Tasmad gavam brahmananam andreshtarya vyatam makhya ya indra yaga sambaras tayiraham sajaktam makha. Translation. Therefore, may a sacrifice for the pleasure of the cows, the Brahmins, and Govardhana Hill begin. With all the paraphernalia collected for worshiping Indra, let the sacrifice be performed instead. Chapter 25. Lord Krishna lifts Govardhana Hill. This chapter describes how Lord Indra's pride leads to his downfall, and how Lord Krishna protects the residents of Vraja. Angered when the cowherd men canceled his sacrifice, Indra falsely considered himself the supreme controller and accused the Vrajavasis of abandoning their higher knowledge to follow an ordinary child. To punish them, he sent the Samvartaka clouds, meant for cosmic destruction, to flood Vrindavan with torrential rain and hail. Terrified, the residents of Gokula took shelter of Krishna. Understanding Indra's arrogance, Krishna lifted Govardhana Hill and holding it up with his little finger on his left hand for 7 days, using it as an umbrella to protect the entire community and their animals. Realizing Krishna's supreme power, Indra withdrew the storm. When Krishna replaced the hill, the cowherds rejoiced, embracing him with tears of love, while the demigods showered flowers and glorified the Lord. A verse from chapter 25 is text 23. Tushrid yatam sukhapeksam hitvatayir brajavasivi vikshamano dadharadim saptapham chatat patat. Translation. Lord Krishna, forgetting hunger and thirst and putting aside all considerations for personal pleasure, stood there holding up the hill for 7 days as the people of Vraja gazed upon him. Chapter 26. Wonderful Krishna. In this chapter, Nanda Maharaj reveals Lord Krishna's divine opulences to the cowherd men, repeating what he had confidentially heard from Garga Muni. The cowherds, astonished by Krishna's extraordinary deeds, such as lifting Govardhana Hill, killing Putana, and irresistibly attracting everyone in Vrindavan, questioned how such a child could appear in a cowherd family. Nanda explains that Garga Muni foretold Krishna's divine identity in previous ages as he appeared in white, red, and yellow forms, and now in his dark bluish Krishna form, known as Vasudeva. He would protect Gokul from all calamities, spread auspiciousness, and increase the joy of his devotees. Garga Muni also said that those devoted to Krishna can never be defeated, for he is as powerful and opulent as Lord Narayan himself. Hearing this, the cowherd men were filled with awe and happiness and continued to worship Krishna and Nanda Maharaj. A verse from chapter 26 is text 13. Jaskanuagosmim sarvesam no vrajalkasam nanate tanaye smasu tashyap yapaktikan katam. Translation. Dear Nanda, How is it that we and all the other residents of Braja cannot give up our constant affection for your son? And how is it that he is so spontaneously attracted to us? Chapter 27. Lord Indra and Mother Surabhi offer prayers. This chapter describes how Lord Sri Krishna humbled Indra and received worship from him and the divine Surabhi cow. After seeing Krishna's extraordinary power, Indra felt ashamed for attacking Vrindavan with a storm and approached the Lord, offering obeisances and praise. He acknowledged that Krishna, though never deluded by material illusion, takes human-like forms to establish dharma, chastise the proud, and protect all living beings. Indra recognized Krishna as the father, guru, and supreme controller, and as time personified the agent of punishment. Krishna explained that he stopped the Indra Yagna to remind the proud demigod of true humility and instructed him to serve without false ego. In reverence, Indra and Surabhi performed a bathing ceremony for Krishna using heavenly Ganges water and Surabhi's milk, conferred the name Govinda, and showered him with flowers and prayers, glorifying his supremacy. A verse from chapter 27 is text 13. Vaye sanugritosmi devasta sambhupito yama ishvaram gurum atmanam tvam aham saranam gata. Translation. O Lord, you have shown mercy to me by shattering my false pride and defeating my attempt to punish Vrindavan. To you, the Supreme Lord, Spiritual Master, and Supreme Soul, I have now come for shelter. Chapter 28. Krishna rescues Nanda Maharaj from the abode of Varuna. This chapter describes how Lord Krishna brought Nanda Maharaj back from the abode of Varuna and how the cowherd men saw Vaikuntha. While observing the Ekadasi vow, Nanda Maharaj entered the Yamuna at an inauspicious time and was mistakenly taken by Varuna's servant to the demigod's abode. When Nanda did not return, the cowherd searched anxiously, and Krishna immediately understood what had happened. Krishna went to Varuna Loka, where Varuna Dev respectfully worshipped him and begged forgiveness for his servant's offense. After Nanda was safely returned, he described Krishna's extraordinary influence, convincing the cowherds that Krishna must be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Desiring to see his abode, they were led by Krishna to bathe in a sacred lake, where he revealed to them the spiritual world Vaikuntha, normally seen only by perfected sages in deep meditation. A verse from chapter 28 is text 13. Yano vailoka etasmin avidya kama karma vi uchava kashtu gatisu naveda swam gatim brahman. Translation. Lord Krishna thought, certainly people in this world are wandering among higher and lower destinations, which they achieve through activities performed according to their desires and is without full knowledge. Thus people do not know their real destination. Chapter 29. Krishna and the Gopis meet for the Rasa dance. This chapter describes Lord Krishna's preparation for the Rasa dance and his love in exchange with the Gopis. Remembering his promise to them, Krishna uses his Yogamaya potency and plays his flute on an autumn night, irresistibly calling the Gopis from their homes. Overcome by spiritual love, they abandon all duties and rush to him. When the Gopis reached him, Krishna tests their devotion by advising them to return home, speaking of social duty and explaining that devotion does not depend on physical proximity. The Gopis, deeply hurt, reply that exclusive service to Krishna is the soul's true religion, and that his flute and beauty overpower all worldly obligations. Pleased by their pure love, Krishna begins intimate pastimes with them, but when they become slightly proud of his attention, he suddenly disappears, teaching humility and deepening their love through separation. A verse from chapter 29 is text 43. Tabi sameti bir udar testita parikshano pula muktir vi achyuta udara hasadivav kundadi bhatir varo chatanaka ibidubir brita. Translation. Among the assembled gopis, the infallible Lord Krishna appeared just like the moon surrounded by stars. He whose activities are so magnanimous made their faces blossom with affectionate glances, and his broad smiles revealed the effulgence of his jasmine bud-like teeth. Chapter 30. The Gopis Search for Krishna. This chapter describes how the Gopis were overwhelmed with separation from Krishna after he suddenly disappeared from the Rasa dance. Tormented by separation, they wandered frantically through the forest, asking all living and non-living beings about his whereabouts, and began imitating his pastimes out of despair. Along the way, they saw Krishna's footprints intertwined with Srimati Radharani's, which caused them both awe and pain, as they realized the special intimacy between him and Radha. Observing signs of Krishna picking flowers, or possibly carrying Radha on his shoulders, the Gopis' hearts were further tormented by jealousy and longing. Krishna at one point disappeared from Radharani. Radha herself, overwhelmed with love, shared her distress with her friends. Unable to find Krishna, despite searching under the moonlight, the Gopis returned to the Yamuna's shore, resigned yet fully absorbed in devotion. The Gopis sang his glories in utter helplessness and loving separation, illustrating the depth of their pure spiritual love. A verse from chapter 30 is text 43. Tanmanas kastat alapas tad vichetas tad atmika tad guna eva gayanto nat magarani sasmaru. Translation. Their minds absorbed in thoughts of him, they conversed about him, acted out his pastimes, and felt themselves filled with his presence. They completely forgot about their homes as they loudly sang the glories of Krishna's transcendental qualities.